listen to the genius, the self-proclaimed genius, Paul, everything money. He just repeats the same thing because he doesn't know anything. And that is, China's got the fastest growing middle class in the world. That's his logic for investing in Alibaba. Nothing else, nothing. That's, I mean, if you ask a 12-year-old to give you a reason to invest in Alibaba, they might tell you that same reason, right? Never mind the risks. Never mind many other things. Of course, this is the guy, Paul, who you can go through the videos. He didn't even realize there was a risk of being delisted last year. He didn't know. Paul is completely clueless. He just pumps out numbers. He thinks that stocks are like real estate. The present value of all stocks is equal to future cash flows. The problem is that you can't predict what the future cash flows are going to be. And if you want to have a chance at predicting what those future cash flows are going to be, Paul, you need to understand the risks. You need to understand the business. You need to understand the management. You need to understand the market. You need to understand many things. You don't look at the fucking numbers, plug them into Veg-O-Matic, and come out with what you think. I want to buy. My goal as a value investor, I want to buy $1 for 70 cents. He's a fucking moron. He doesn't even know what value investing is. Value investing specifically prohibits buying high-tech stocks. Write that down. Okay? Value investors don't buy high-tech stocks unless they are violating their typical strategy. Value investing is not buying any stock at a price you think is lower than intrinsic value. Anyone that tells you that doesn't understand what value investing is. If I understand value investing, see what's happened. A lot of these value investors, they've deviated from what real value investing is. And I'll say one thing about Warren Buffett. I criticize the guy, and he should be criticized because nobody's criticizing the guy. And my criticism is very fair and it's very important, and there should be more of it. Of course, people will copy me eventually, but I like to think that I'm a fair person, and I'll give Warren Buffett credit when credit is due. And similar to my criticism that he doesn't understand, in my opinion, valuation of intangible assets, which granted is very difficult, very subjective. And he doesn't understand technology stocks. At the same time, he's stayed consistent for the most part with his value investing. He's deviated a little bit with some stocks, but for the most part, he's a value investor, and he knows that value investing, you don't invest in high-tech stocks. Now, if you look at Apple, Apple's not a value stock, but he's desperate. He figures, look, it's in the Dow 30. It's got a lot of safety to it because it's in the Dow 30. Remember, Warren Buffett did not buy Apple until it went on the Dow 30. People seem to forget that. Okay? In fact, there's a video I'm going to show you later on. Someone remind me in another stream. Stockmo uses a Warren Buffett. He tries to lure kids into investing because he wants them to sign up for his shit and watch his videos. He gives the Warren Buffett example. It talks about Apple and how you could have made all this. And he doesn't mention that Warren Buffett did not invest in Apple until a small amount, very small amount, 2016, and got into it much more heavy in 2018 or 19 or so, right? When it was well on the Dow, so on and so forth. These people, they're all just fucking scammers. But so, value investing is not tech investing. If you're trying to buy something at a price below intrinsic value, think about that. You got to be really good. You got to be really fucking sharp, okay, to do that. And Paul is not in that category. And his little stock analyzer doesn't do that. And if you think it does, all you got to do is look at his stock. Think about it. The whole tenet behind everything money is They need to find what the real intrinsic value is. If you can't do that, then how are you going to buy something undervalued, right? He thought that Alibaba was undervalued at $275, and so he started buying it. And of course, with all stocks that he buys, it seems like every stock that they talk about, it tanks. But with all stocks that tank, they keep buying it. Oh, I love it when it goes down. I get to buy it cheaper. Right? If you notice this, and but value investing, certain types of companies, certain types of businesses, okay? Certain types of businesses. And they're more conservative, the operations are more conservative, the earnings are more predictable, and you don't have all these complex intangible assets out there that comprise a large portion of the revenues, you see, unlike what you have with high-tech stocks. I think that Warren Buffett felt more comfortable with Apple also because while it's a tech stock and there's a lot of intangible assets, Apple is also, it's a retail stock. I mean, it appeals to retail consumers. So there is a quantifiable business there that you can put your hands on, you can wrap your hands around, you see. But anyway, so what Paul doesn't get, which is just weird, is that what he tries to do, and this Sven Carlin, all these guys that claim to be value investors on YouTube, show me somebody that really is, because they're not. They're fake value investors. What they're doing is GARP, growth at a reasonable price. Okay, that's the approach they're trying to take, and they're failing at it. By the way, they're fucking failing, folks. If you were credible, you knew what you're doing. You're not on YouTube pitching to fucking kids and childs and naive people. That's what these people are doing because they're not credible. Remember, these guys, Paul was doing real estate videos before the pandemic, right? Most of these guys were doing real estate and other bullshit videos before the pandemic.